For my whole life, I worked in music essentially. I was a professional drummer, played different instruments. I worked in recording studios a lot, and that's where I kind of learned how to use computers because that was all Mac stuff, setting that stuff up and learning, digital audio engineering and um, very tech heavy. So, when it came to that point, it's like, oh, I'm in the music business, but wait, I want money. Uh, I pivoted. I'm like, well, I guess I like computers too.
Awesome. So today I have Steve Weiner from Get Rubix. Get Rubix? Rubix.
Yeah, yeah. Get Rubix is the YouTube channel, and as of this year, it's actually a business called Rubix. So whatever anyone wants to call it, that's fine.
Well, thank you for hopping on here. It's called the Diary of a Sysadmin. I don't know what episode it is now. I'm just filming or recording and letting it
Well, that's
rip.
good.
Um, but I did want to ask you, what's up with the red glasses?
Well, fashion's important to me. No, it's not. I don't remember. It's been. I actually have to go back to the eye doctor at some point. It's been 2-3 years, and it was around the time I actually started a Twitch channel before I did YouTube because I was bored during the pandemic. Um, I don't know. I went to get glasses, and like I hate picking stuff out. Like I don't spend time shopping, so I saw the red and they were like the first thing there. I tried them on. I'm like, all right, well, they're comfortable, they're light, and I just didn't want to be in the store anymore. That's kind of it. And it was just sometimes I go after something that's like radically different. Like I bought like bright, orange sneakers just because like I don't really care what I look like, so I figure it's different. And they kind of just stuck and became part of the thing. So I guess I have to keep them now.
No, I think they look great. I think they fit you well. I was just always curious. I'm like, what's the backstory behind them? So
I'll tell you a funny story about them. I was in right after I got them, I was in a like a Starbucks or something, and I dressed like a slob all the time, so I had like sweatpants on and my South Park t-shirt, and some guy walked in, very dressed up, suit, nice shoes, his hair was done, and he had the same glasses. So I looked at him and I said, "Oh," and I went like, "We got the same," and he probably threw them out. He had to have like, he just looked like so upset that we had the same glasses. Uh, so yeah, I hope he's doing okay wherever he is.
oh man. Well, um, let me let's take it back a little bit. So I think I saw your first job was at Apple. Is that correct?
First actual job, yeah, was at Apple. Yeah, it was at an Apple retail store. Um, and then I became a Apple like a one of the trainers, taught people how to use like the software. Then I started working for like Apple Business and doing stuff there. So it's almost 5 years. I learned a lot there. Um, and it was an interesting company.
I can imagine. You're in the consumer
Oh yeah.
world.
Yeah, I can't believe looking back now, I can't believe I did it. But they definitely in those days Apple was I think a little different from a retail perspective. So like they would fly you out to Cupertino to train you. Um and it was really intense. Like it was like a good 2 months before like you could help customers yourself. So it was intense training. It was interesting. A lot of psychological stuff went on. So it was certainly experience. And I met some people that I still work with today. So that's pretty cool.
That's awesome. And was there any other careers or things before that? Or was that kind of the
Yeah,
first?
before that, before that, my whole life I worked in music essentially. I was a professional drummer, played different instruments. I worked in recording studios a lot, and that's where I kind of learned how to use computers because that was all Mac stuff, setting that stuff up and learning, digital audio engineering and very tech heavy. So, when it came to that point, it's like, oh, I'm in the music business, but wait, I want money. I pivoted. I'm like, well, I guess I like computers too. Yeah, it started at Apple, and then from there, found a job as a solutions engineer at a very big company. and I was there until recently. It was about 10 years. I was there. So like quarter of my life, which is weird
Wow.
to be
Wow.
somewhere for that long. Like, yeah,
That that is great. I mean, it's commendable, right? I mean, you probably don't see it as often now. But man, that's a grind. I'm sure it probably flew by, even though it was
it
so
did.
long of your journey.
Yeah, it flew. It was kind of cool because it was, you know, it's funny, you talk about like diary of a sysadmin. So I can't say I was ever a sysadmin, but sysadmins were the people I would help, like starting in like pre-sales engineering to then implementation and consulting. So my customers are sysadmins. Um, so you have to be able to like work with a lot of different environments. And I got it, while in that capacity, I was able to build uh, kind of the autopilot, modern Windows, cloud native uh, management practice right from the beginning, right? Like I remember being in like a Microsoft training a few months before Windows 10 came out, learning about provisioning packages and watching people lose their mind when they were introducing the Windows servicing, like the branches at the time. They were called branches. Um, and just seeing that whole shift to where it was like, oh snap, because at Apple I saw MDM come to, get basically created, and DEP, and to see it happen with Windows, it's like I I knew for sure it was like this is where it's going. So um yeah, to see it all come through from, man, people hate this, or it's, any changes, rocks their world. But then yeah, to get to the point where now it's just commonplace. Who's using autopilot, and the whole room raised their hands. So it's wild to see that shift.
Yeah, no, for sure. I bet. Did you see a lot of it get accelerated like during COVID or during or after COVID for sure?
Oh yeah. I mean, the funny, it was definitely a push. It wasn't the push we wanted, but you're literally talking about getting people, because the real hard part of it was trying to convince people to not join the domain anymore. I mean, it's still an issue here where I say where I live, like in the US it's a big deal. In the UK, where and in Europe there's obviously a lot of MVPs, and things are a little more advanced there. You don't see that as much, and my customers over there don't have that aversion to it. But here it's still a struggle. Yeah, that was always the kind of the rub, right? Getting people to not join, and then all of a sudden, 2020, everyone lost sight of their domain controller. So it's like, oh well, like told you so, but not really. So um yeah, I know at the time I had a team of like three or four people, and by the beginning of 2021 we were probably 9 to 10, um and ended up going all the way to like 14 engineers on my team at the where I was. So yeah, it got busy. A lot of companies tried to push that and do it in an accelerated way. So it was a lot. I think I don't count anymore, but the last the last number I put down, by the time rounded out the 10 years where I was, I had worked on setting up over 2,000 Intune environments. Yeah,
Wow. Wow.
somewhere in there. So yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff.
I can imagine. And with that role, did you get to travel much?
Yeah, especially before the pandemic, there was a lot of travel. Yeah, because I'm not a big traveler otherwise, but yeah, they started throwing me on a plane. Um, pretty much all over. I went to like I never really traveled much before. I was kind of adverse to flying, and then in within 3-4 years, I went to almost every state, um, and work with a lot of different folks. It was interesting, right? There is a difference, I will say, like especially now that obviously the world kind of resumed. But for instance, I'll do a workshop with some folks, and just kind of go over modern work and help them identify stuff, and spending 2-3 days on site with someone versus the remote thing, it's just so much more impact. So and you can't deny it, right? It's just a more like it's like a more special thing, and as much as I like to stay in my basement, uh, it's yeah, there's value in it.
Absolutely. I guess out of all those 50 states, were there any that you got to step outside the customer's office and got to enjoy? Were there any that stuck out?
Yeah, yeah, I don't really care. Like when I mean, I would go. I had like I would go with like a project manager or just like a business oriented person would come with me. I call him like a handler, and we would go places, and he'd be all like, "Oh, let's check out this restaurant over here," and I could care. I don't like seeing things or experiencing things. I'm just like I'm content looking at it on a screen. So for me, it's like I mean, yeah, like there's I remember I spent a lot of time in Indianapolis, and they have like a weird mall above the city, and it's like, okay, they got that. I've been out um by Microsoft quite a few times in Redmond. I guess that's kind of cool, but like people always say, "Oh, how'd you like this?" I'm like, they had roads and cars and tree like where'd you think I went? Like so. But again, I think I'm the wrong person too. So because I know people who travel, they're like, oh, when you're here, make sure you go. I'm like, don't tell me anything. I'll sit in the hotel room.
I You touched on it a little bit, but I think you have to unravel the onion of your music career. What kicked that off?
Oh, I just since I was like, 4 years old, I knew how to play drums and piano. It's kind of just a natural thing. And my parents were super into it. So, where most kids would be like, you gotta, put your music like on the side and focus on school. My parents were like, don't even worry about homework. If you're like playing out in a band, like they were like, I don't care about school and stuff like that. So it was, yeah, it was that kind of thing. But yeah, I just played drums was my primary instrument, and I just played different cover bands and things. And in New Jersey is a big area for that because you get the whole Asbury music scene, and it used to be you could kind of make some decent money playing constantly. So I would play in bands at night. I would teach music in the day, and I did that till I was like, man, I don't know, 22, 23, I think. In my mind, I'm still, I turned 40 this past year. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, well, that just 2000 just happened, but it didn't. Um, yeah, but I'm happy doing this too. So it was, yeah, it just feels like a whole different life.
Absolutely. But it's that's also like a really unique experience too, right? Like, a lot of people don't get to say, hey, I tried to become a rock star when I was in my early
Yeah.
20s.
Well, that was kind of the problem, right? I kind of was a rock star, and I always funny when people in corporate are like, "Oh, this is our sales guy. He's a rock star." I'm like, "That's offensive to us rock stars." Um, no, yeah, I mean, I did some touring and stuff. It was what really was the problem, and I kind of like when I said I don't like going places. It's like I wasn't the right person to do the thing. I didn't like getting on a bus with a band and slumming it for a song. Like I don't like that stuff. So it was very weird for me. And I think I always knew like I liked playing music, but I didn't like the things around it. So it I think I went to a career that was more my speed as a person. But yeah, it's an interesting little paradigm there.
Do you still keep up with the drums? Do you have them
I
stashed
have
away?
yeah, I have like an electronic drum set now in the basement here, and I play here and there. I play like I love playing bass guitar, so I'll play just for fun and stuff. And who knows? I know a few friends of mine are also hung up the guitar a while ago, so I don't know. Maybe one day we'll jam. Just a couple old dads, just just jamming out. But nah, it's always kind of party.
I don't know if you could, you did spend a lot of time at your role. What are some things that you really took from that role? Yep.
Left. Everything, kind of everything, right? So I met my business partner, the co-founder of Rubix. I met him as soon as I started. So we've been working together for like, 11, 12 years. And, uh, so like the things I learned about, the uh MSP reseller industry, about just sysadmins in general. And I mean, I didn't know what a domain was when I started because it was just Apple stuff. So yeah, it was weird. Yeah, just really everything. It was kind of like drinking from a fire hose. I think the biggest thing I learned was, you know, um, we always have this thing in our minds of like, man, if you were to go talk to, I'm like a makeup company, if you were to talk to like a Johnson and Johnson, or like AT&T, or if you were to go talk to a company like this, they got to be on a whole other level, and I can't talk to them. EOs, CIOs, they're all people. They're straight up people, and I started getting in those situations with many, many, many customers, some of the biggest names in the world. You know, it never hit that point. Every time I thought we were gonna, I was like, oh man, this is it. This next rung of the ladder is going to be people I can't hang with or talk
Mhm.
to. And it never like that. Everyone's people. And honestly, really is about, like, I use that term, like, got to be able to hang with people. Yeah, that's more important than like what technically. Same thing with hiring, right? Like, I'm not so concerned with what someone can knows now. I'm concerned about the type of person they are. Can they learn? Do they care? Someone
Mhm.
asked me once, because I was interviewing people for a while, and I hated that. It's awkward. And one of the candidates was like, what's the biggest quality you look for in like a team member? And I'm like, I did think about it for a second. I was like, honestly, you have to just care. If you care, that means you'll learn. That means you'll handle a customer situation in a certain way. It means you care about the quality. Like, it literally comes down to that. So I think I learned that um that's kind of the root of everything, is a lot of people skills, a lot of, you could be certified out the right. You can have like
Yep.
13 certifications, don't mean anything. People might not like you or want you around. So I mean, if you can read a room, if you can gel with team members, if you're in like a meeting and you can understand that, well, okay, this guy is really pushing for change, but this guy isn't happy about it and he resents that guy. If you can draw those things, um that goes a long way, and no one will teach you that ever. So it was pretty valuable to work with that many organizations.
Yeah, I'm sure they a lot of those different places that you worked with, like, you took nuggets from them, right? Not only from a technical perspective, but different personalities, different strategies.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. You get to see the way everyone does things, and you learn as much from what not to do from someone as you will learn about what to do. Um, and that's kind of the thing of it, right? And the Microsoft world is very interesting because it's kind of built on that, right? Microsoft makes tools, but Microsoft, they're not the experts in utilizing the tools, and they're not supposed to be, right? And I think like there's this meme in the tech world, or where it's just like everyone dunks on Microsoft, and it's because they're big, right? It's like people dunk on Apple too, but it's like, first of all, if the Microsoft stuff all worked the way it was supposed to out of the box, none of us would have jobs. If it was plug and play, right?
Exactly.
So, that is one element of it. And the other is, you're talking about, a suite of products or platforms that need to fit everyone. It's like
Yeah.
organizations are different, just the way people are. And it's not going to happen without some like finesse and tweaking. So that's just all part of the gig, right? So I try to never be like, oh man, especially with Microsoft, I try to take a very pragmatic, neutral approach and not immediately start yelling like, oh, this thing sucks. Why does it do that? It's like, well, let's look at it neutrally. So I don't even remember the original question, but I do that. I just derail and
No,
just
you're
go
good.
down a
You're
whole
good.
thing.
Yeah. No, but to your point, it's like, you know, it's not a one size it's not a hat that fits everybody, right? If it did,
Right.
then all the companies would be doing the same thing. But everybody does so
Yeah.
many different things, right? We have probably factories that do certain things with Windows devices. We have a retail store. So it's like everybody's use
Yeah.
case is different.
It is, and then there's another aspect of it that's not, because at a certain point, like there's the other side of that coin where you sit and listen to people talk and they're like, so let me tell you what we do. And I'm like, I know what you do. You give laptops to people, they read email and join Teams call. Like, what could they do? Like I know, like it's all the same. Like, or you'll meet a customer that has some super specialized need and they're making their life a living hell. Um, and I want to say to them, like, I want to be like, okay, I'm like looking at this list of group policy. I'm like, if you can tell me what they mean and why they exist, I will migrate them for you. Like you have to be able to explain it because I don't know what I'm looking at, and I'm pretty sure you don't either. I found a common thread. Yeah, like moving to modern management, I found a thread, and it is the same story. And I tell it when I do talks. I'm like, look, here's the deal. I'm like, you migrating your group policy. You didn't set up your group policy. Some guy did it. His name was probably Ted, and he ain't there no more. That's always the way it goes down. It's like, oh well, Ted did these. He's not here. It's like, so there's a certain point, and I'm sure Microsoft struggles with this too. Like there's pushing and there's meeting someone where they're at, right? And we're at the point now where it's been 10 years, right? 2015 is when Windows 10 came out, and that's when you had the option to Azure AD join, and it was new. But now it's 10 years. We're staring down the end of Windows 10. We're staring at Windows 11 and all this stuff, and it's like, no, we just gotta like we're just gonna have to stop doing certain things. But that's the hardest thing, is getting people to stop doing certain things because it's the way they've always done them. So
Yeah, the technical part is easy. The people part is the tricky
yeah,
part.
yeah, if projects were, working with someone for a few months to implement modern management and Intune, yeah, I mean, the tech, yeah, you know how it is. Like, probably go, just give me access. I'll set up Intune in a few hours, and you'll be off to the races. But it's just the decisions and the operational part. But that's also those are the things that makes or break, if you're in this field, right? I've seen folks come in and say, well, I had a consultant say they'll come in and do this in 5 days and set it up, and it only costs $1,000. It's like, yeah, I could set it up too in a week or whatever. It's like, but you know, it, there's operational things, there's procedure, there's stuff you don't even think about. There's procurement, and there's the HR department, and all these things that it's kind of funny. It's not like you're just working on a product. Like implementing modern management changes the whole operation of the organization. So there's a lot of moving pieces, which is another thing I learned just from doing it.
Mhm. Absolutely. And doing so much, you have you started your YouTube channel, I saw, I believe 3 years ago.
I think it was 3, but because I saw that too. It was like, oh, congrats on 3 years. I think I did a video and then I waited a year to start. Yeah, my first video I hated. It's still up there, and I didn't know how to be. Like, it was very not like I do now. It was very like, I'm like, "Hi, I'm Steve, and today I'm gonna," and I didn't like doing it, and I watched it, and I thought it was crap. So I was like, I'm done doing it. And then after I did the Twitch stuff, my good friend and colleague Lisa, she said, "Well, you should do Intune stuff like you're on Twitch playing video games, and that person at that same just be you." And it actually made a lot of sense. And she said, "There's no one like that in the tech world," and it entertained me. Like, I remember the first one we did. So, what are you gonna say? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just to turn the camera on. I'm gonna be like, yo, what's wrong with Nickelback? Hey, today we're gonna talk about like just little one liner things just out of nowhere. It makes me laugh. So yeah, I would say, yeah, probably 2 years since I've been doing it steady, and I didn't really expect it to get to this point. Not that it's massive, but I think it's like 6,500 subscribers, and we have a whole membership thing, and I think there's almost 300 members now in it,
Wow.
and yeah, then the Discord channel, which is when I started the YouTube thing, people were leaving comments and asking questions, so I would answer them, and we would have a good back and forth. And my same colleague Lisa, she says, you can't be doing this on YouTube. We need a Discord server. And I didn't know anything about Discord. So I turned into a boomer, right? And so she built it out. And I was looking today, we're just at about 1,500 members, and there's Microsoft folks in there. There's a lot of Microsoft MVPs. It's crazy, and just watching that community, uh, I mean, it's nuts to see. I thought it was going to be like, Lisa would be in there, my dad, something like that. Like I thought it'd be like, but it's kind of taken off, and people know the brand, and it's wild, right? Going, I was at Microsoft Ignite in Chicago in November, and people were asking for selfies. It's like this wild. Well, my wife helps me with it because I'll tell her, and she's like, "What's wrong with these people? They want to take their picture with you," and she brings me back down. But no, I'm happy with everything. I mean, I think it's I think it's just wild.
Do you have like a regular cadence that you're like releasing like YouTube content, or is it just like at this point you're just letting them rip?
Well, it was a lot in the beginning because I like doing it, and it's probably too much. But there's no just getting out there. So I typically will do um a Wednesday and a Thursday, or a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, depending on just what's going on that week. I try to be a professional about it, like, and all like, it's like, okay, I'm going to film a bunch this day, and then but I either like don't do it or things happen. Um, Very topical. Like, I think last week something changed with, the Intune, it's like the hybrid join connector for autopilot, and I saw a lot of folks were talking about it. I'm like, oh well, I better do a video about it. So I interrupted my schedule to do a video. So yeah, I try to get at least two a week out there. It's a lot harder when I have events going to. So it's been tough the last few months, but now I try to hit two a month, and it's good. People can only consume so much. So I what I ended up doing was anything that's really in depth, or kind of, like a 20-minute video, that goes on the members channel. I figure, look, there's always going to be free content, but if some people want more, or they like when I do ones that I just rant about certain topics, like I did all about like being a consultant one time. So if people like that, then they can join the membership, and it's like $4 a month, so it's a lot cheaper than Netflix. Not that I have the same content, but
I'll make sure to leave all that info too. So I'll grab that
oh,
from
yeah, yeah,
you so
that's
that
fine.
we can share it with people. Um
Yeah, sure. Sign up twice. No. Um,
I did see that you had started kind of a podcast sequence as well. Um
I did. It,
mhm.
it that got hard to coordinate with people because I got busy. And although I am filming one tomorrow, so next week it'll be back out. I have a really cool guest, another MVP, who's going to be on. But yeah, I was really surprised that these people would get on and talk to me. Um, I think one of the biggest ones is I had Michael Niehaus on, and I was like, "Hey, if you want to do this," he's like, "Yeah, I don't care." And just like, "Okay, here we go." Um, yeah, it was cool. Technically, it's more challenging, and it's harder. I mean, well, you know how it is. You're doing it now, and it was weird because I couldn't fire them off as fast. But honestly, I leave it open, and when they come up, it'll be like, "This is episode 21," and episode 20 was 8 months ago. But whatever, doesn't matter.
Are there any other projects you're working on right now?
This is a lot. So Rubix is about to launch its first application. Um, it's called HyperPilot. It's a kind of a Hyper-V automation layer. It's basically a tool that it maintains templates of. It's for testing autopilot, right? I've spent years testing it with VMs, and it's a pain because you got to install the ISO. So I have these templates I use that have the tools already installed. Um, they're the PowerShell stuff. PS Tools is on them, the autopilot scripts, and they're patched. And I always just I queue one up and copy it, so I don't have to build the machine. It's ready to go. And I've been using it forever, and I decided to put an app around it, like turn it into an app. And yeah, it's turned into probably the next several weeks it'll launch. It's actually, if you go to hyperpilot.getrubix.com, you can get a free trial right now, so that's
Oh, okay.
available. Yeah, a
Okay.
little secret trial. um but yeah, excited about that. it's another time consuming thing. Unfortunately, everything is just a massive time sink. That's the commodity. It's time.
Mhm. Yeah, man, you juggle a lot, man, and like
Yeah, I'm
your YouTube
exhausted.
channel, you know you just started your own gig, like
Yeah,
so
yeah,
and life
yeah.
outside of it. So
Yeah,
like
there's that too. But it's my one rule is I don't do anything I don't really love to do. Because if I don't love it, I will have no interest and I won't do it. And bye bye. That's why I don't exercise or eat right. The but that yeah, you got something's got to go when you're juggling. I have I have twin girls and they're 10 and um, when you have all these things, that's really what it is, right? If you don't love it and if you don't like if you're any of that, like, oh man, work's starting up again, it won't work. You have to love it in order to do it, or you just torture yourself.
absolutely, and that's been a common thing that somebody has mentioned before is like love what you do.
You have to. Yeah,
You have to, right? Because then like you mentioned, you wake up and you're like, ah, gotta get to work. You're just
can't
like,
can't live like that. Yeah, and
no.
I've worked with people who do, and it's like you don't even want them around. Like it sucks, but like the thing I hated the most about corporate America was listening to people declare the day. Like, how you doing? It's Monday. Really? That's or almost Friday. It's like, how do you live in that cycle of like, oh, I'm looking forward to this day so that I could spend 2 days not here just to come back, and that cycle just it like, I mean, bothered me so much that I can't do that. I mean, once in a while, sure, you feel a certain week, but it's like,
Yeah.
bro, I feel like saying, Monday gonna come back, right? Like, you got to chill with that.
It's like a boomerang. They're gonna keep going back.
It's like this ain't gonna work for you. You might want to quit and just drink professionally. I don't know, like something. It's not. This isn't working out.
Were you ever a comedian? You have a great sense of humor.
No, unfortunately, I tried stand up here and there when I was very young, but it's no. I just I like to make myself laugh, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Like all the videos in the beginning, people ask me, it's like that's just stuff that I think is funny to me, um, and like the my all my thumbnails, my sister creates those, and some people have caught on it's an homage to the Aqua Teen Hunger Force show, so it's like me and some food characters, and they're just these crazy situations, and they make me laugh, and that's really it. It's not really for other people. It's like if they like it too, great, and they do. Because one time, I think I was in a pinch and I didn't have a thumbnail, I used AI, and people were like, oh, I hate that, go back to the cool. And again, it's a thing you don't see anymore either. Like everyone's kind of using the AI thumbnails and stuff.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's just like I like the look of it. Again, it's like a cool like it just yeah, it entertains me.
No, I think
So
they're hilarious.
thank you.
Oh man. Shout out to Lisa and shout out to your sister. They
For sure. Yeah,
some
you can't anything you do, you need a team, whether it's formal or informal. And with my co-founder and partner of Rubix, with the team I worked with previously, folks like Lisa, my sister, there are, yeah, you always need a team of people to do anything, and to put up with your stuff, and you also need people to tell you something stupid and you have to deal with it. I remember we changed the theme song early on to the little intro thing when the video starts, and I don't know. I was so in my head, like we were going to change it. And I was like, I don't know if we should change it. People like it. And my partner's like, what do you think? It's the theme to the Wonder Years? Like, who cares? Like, you're too attached to it. And you need someone to talk to you like that. Like, you can't be around people who are afraid to tell you, like, you're
bunch of
being
yes
an
man.
idiot right now. Yeah, you got to have constant just back and forth
Hmm.
and, critical evaluation of the stuff you do. Otherwise, it's going to suck, So, or it might still suck, but at least someone will tell you it sucks. So yeah, I don't know.
So then do you have a pretty big formal team, or is it just you run the show for like Get Rubix? I know you
Get
said you have like a
Rubix is yeah,
founder and a partner.
yep. Get Rubix is two people. Um It's myself and my partner who I worked with previously. We'd like to get bigger because I have a core team I met all the way back at Apple. Lisa's one of them. I have like one or two other folks, and I consider them my team. I mean, it's been 15 years we've been working together, so it'd be nice if one day everyone kind of, we all put the band back together. And but we'll see what happens. Rubix is officially like 3 months old at this point, so it's still very new, and we're flying through it.
I know you had the solution, the device migration solution, I believe, as
Yes.
well.
Yeah. Yeah. That's open source. Yep. Open source solution that came out of necessity. I had a customer in 2022. They were a large pharmaceutical company. They had 15,000 users. And it's funny because they all had like newer Surface devices. So no position to be refreshing hardware. And they divested, and 8,000 of them, they were splitting. So like 8,000 of them had to go to this other entity with a separate tenant. And came time to do devices. Lots of people do tenant migration, the identities, the email. I mean, I don't mess with that, but it came time to do devices, and Microsoft, they were working with Microsoft and with me. So like I was like fact checking the Microsoft folks. So Microsoft said, well, you have to wipe them all, re-register them in autopilot. And they said, we're not doing that. Like, they're not going to be able to work if we wipe their device. Like, and Microsoft said, well, you have to. So they went to me and they said, what do you think? Do you have any ideas? And I love doing stuff that doesn't exist because I think it's fun. Um, so I had an idea and tried it out. Very, very rough around the edges and very bare metal, but it did migrate a device without wiping it, put it in a new tenant, took it out of the existing one, and they weren't. Microsoft wasn't super happy about that, but I remember the one thing was like they're like, well, we can't support this. I said, I know. That's why I had to go make it. Like, obviously, which is fine. Like, there's the thing about Microsoft is, they value the community. Like, that's why the MVP program, I mean, exists. So, I think they actually don't have a problem with the fact that someone's going to go make a community tool. But either way, customer was happy and people heard of it, and it kept getting refined throughout the years until it's pretty stable. And but I always kept it a community project because I don't know. It's if it can help people, that's a pretty bad situation to be in, where
Yeah,
you don't want to wipe hundreds or thousands of devices, and then people start reaching out through Discord and saying, "Hey, I found this," and there's actually one of the channels is a channel for the migration solution, and it's funny because Microsoft put an update on something that broke it, and before I even got to fix it, that community fixed it themselves that whole day. They were just helping each other, like figuring it out. Like, oh well, Steve would have done this, or I don't know if he saw it. Like, I mean, it is wild. So that I'm just something I'm proud of, and if people are using it, and there's even some big copycats out there, like big companies trying to copycat it. So that's a form of flattery.
absolutely. And I know, and I just mentioned it because I know you presented it at TC Smug, and a lot
Yes.
of people were really interested.
Yeah.
People were like, "Holy cow!" I know some people were like in that current situation where they were
Yeah.
migrating and stuff. So
Yeah, I got some feedback. It definitely helped some folks. So yeah, that was great. No, it's fun because, like I said, it's a community project. So it's something I definitely keep up with just out of I love it and I believe in it, and to see so many folks um, try it, and seeing all the devices get migrated. Yeah, it's another just wild thing. Whenever I love putting something out there and it having an impact on people. I mean, there's no words for that when someone says to you, like, "Hey, you helped me out of a jam with this thing that you made and put out there." It's like, well, that's incredible. So
absolutely. So kind of back to that TC Smug thing. When did you first start like speaking, just kind of getting out, and presenting stuff?
I think just coming from as soon as I mean, even starting at Apple, right?
Hmm.
Whenever there was something to present, I kind of gravitated towards it, or folks would say, "Hey, we want you to talk," because just coming from that whole other world, I think coming from the music and entertainment industry, not a stranger to being on stage. So I don't consider it like a, oh man, I gotta like get in front of people. It's like you could tell me you have 10,000 people out there. I could care less. Like it, I like it. I like talking in front of. So I think because I like it, either people like the way I do it and they ask me to, or they don't want to do it themselves. So they're like, "Hey, can you talk instead of me?" Yeah. So I did a lot of speaking back at Apple. I did presentations for like big trainings for companies, and then in my previous role, just all kinds of presentations. Technical summits, partner events. Um, People just kept asking me to talk. So yeah, it's I definitely like doing it. I like sharing stuff I created. And now I'm a lot of places I'm speaking. So yeah, basically if there's a zip code and a microphone, I'll show up if someone wants me there. So yeah, I like it a lot, and I like getting to meet people who are fans of the channel and stuff.
I know you were just at MMS. How many sessions did you have there?
I had three,
3?
which seemed to be an okay number. Um, I know some people had like 5 or 6. That seemed crazy. Uh, but yeah, I had 3. Spoke with a lot of cool people. Um, Probably the the one intimidating. There was a session. My last session for the week on a Wednesday was with James Robinson, who created the open baseline, and Rudy Ooms. So that was a little like when originally talked to Rudy about doing it. I'm like, what do you need me for? Like, I'm like, I'm the dumb guy in this group, so I feel like I'm like, well, I'll tell some jokes in between the smart guys talking, but no, we got good feedback on it. Rudy's great. I mean, everyone had a it's a cool vibe because it's very hard to prep for those sessions
Mhm.
before you go. I did have some calls with people and try to arrange stuff, like, but it's kind of cool. Just, I mean, how it is out there. Like everyone's just sitting around that big table working on their session, so it was a good vibe, right? And I got to prep with everybody, and I think overall it was good. It was pretty. They're very different sessions, and it's a long week. I could tell by Wednesday people were like, you could feel it, like the attendees were getting, so it's like an hour and a half session. It's a little rough. So I think we try to just keep it interactive.
Mhm.
That's tough, but it's
Yeah.
great event. I loved it. That was my first one at Mall of America, and it was, I think it was a great event.
And I saw you made a t-shirt at one of the stores.
I did, yeah, because I got there on like Sunday, and I just had nothing to do with myself. So I was walking around the mall, and just some guy had a shirt. He's making T-shirts, and I was looking around. He's like, I could put anything on a shirt. I'm like, what if I give him like my logo? He's like, yeah, oh, yeah. So I gave him the logo, and he met. I'm like, this is perfect this week, and 2 shirts. Um, Eventually, we're planning to have some kind of merch because folks have asked for it. But yeah, I figured, hey, well, I'm out there. So yeah, I just do, like I said, to keep myself occupied. So yeah, bought some custom shirts.
Absolutely. I thought they looked good. Was it a kiosk? Was it an actual store?
It was a store. Yeah, it was an
Okay.
actual store. Yeah, it was a weird mall. There were a lot of things that should have been kiosks that were full blown stores. So, but it's a big mall. I don't think I got to see the whole thing, but it's interesting. But it's also a mall. So it's like
Yeah.
people kept asking me about, like, oh, what is this? I'm like, look, if you got like a GameStop, they have a GameStop, but it's just a GameStop, right? So it's uh it's a mall.
Mhm. Yeah. It's like 3 floors, miles long.
It was crazy. Yeah, yeah. No, it's a good idea though. It was a good idea for the event. And the funny thing was, the speakers had to wear those fishing vests. Um, One thing I will say that I learned, I never thought before, a fishing vest is great attire for a conference because swag, you just pocket it. You got all these pockets. So, I mean, maybe they should make that like a thing for other conferences, just fishing vests, right? Um,
You got your
yeah,
mouse, you got your stickers, you got.
got everything. Yeah, it was great. So I didn't mind that.
How was I think Paris, I believe was I was following your YouTube channel and I think Paris
Yeah,
was the first time you presented overseas.
first time I was ever out of the country. Yeah. And that was right before MMA. Yeah, it was a busy month because I had like a customer visit. I landed for a day. I went to Paris, came back for a few days, and then went to MMS. And now I'm home until mid June. There's the Ninjas UK thing I'm going to. But Paris was interesting, right? It was kind of just like being anywhere else. It wasn't a great part of Paris, I think, overall. And like I got there, and all my UK friends were like, "We're so sorry. Like this is your first location out of the country." They're like, "We promise, UK is better. Please come back to the UK." No, it was cool. We saw some of the city. There was like a speaker dinner, so we ended up walking there, and it was a cool conference, good experience. You know, and just again getting to meet people I wouldn't normally meet who are like located out there who are fans or members of the channel, and it's cool. um so there was this great people to meet. Food wasn't great out there. I don't know, I feel like maybe that's the thing out here. Americans are like, it's like a lie, like we all think, oh, Paris, but it's like, this is Paris, like, so I don't know. Or it could just be me. Remember, I don't really like things. Like, I didn't go to the Eiffel Tower. I saw it from the room, and I'm like, that's fine.
That's
I
enough.
saw, I could see it on my computer. Like, I don't know. And I know, and someone I know went up to it, and he's like, oh, I went and saw it. I'm like, how was it? He's like, it was a rusty metal bit. Like, what, what do you do? You look at it? I don't know. That's me.
So I asked Dean this, Dean Ellerby, because he's got a great YouTube channel as well. Um,
Yes,
do you like follow or like learn of some different channels outside of like the technical realm? Like he was talking to me about how he really enjoys like the Diary of a CEO. Like
sure.
just like how do you get inspirations from other channels or like just
Yeah.
things you
So,
enjoy?
oh yeah. So the first, getting into this, even with the Twitch and stuff, I found this pretty big Twitch guy, Asmongold. Um, just a dirty, recluse millionaire guy playing video games. I like the rawness of his channel. That's what got me even interested in Twitch. Just that, like, he didn't have all these effects and things across the screen. It was like he did the bare minimum, like to put a camera there, but it was him. He was so engaging. And then a YouTube channel I like is Fightin' Cowboy. He's a game streamer. Um, he does a lot of walkthroughs and tutorials, but he's very professional about it. He's got a good setup, and he's overall just got a very good personality. And um, I like that you can like learn a lot. Like if you're like looking up game walkthroughs and stuff. Not that I can play them anymore. I don't have time. But like I did, like it was very helpful and educational, but professional and entertaining. And so yeah, there's like just certain things I take from people, like the way I want to do things. Um, and it doesn't even have to be tech related, like you said. It just, again, other things, or there are certain comedians I really like who I see something. I feel like, I've always said to people like, oh, I want to do tech like this comedian. And they're like, that doesn't make any sense. But like, there are parts you could take from people. You could be a comedian, take elements of a rock band and want to fit that into the way you do things. So yeah, inspiration in other places is critical because you'll burn out just sitting in a silo. So you have to get into other things. So yeah, I'm always looking there. There's always cool stuff. My channel I'm watching right now, it's just some guy. He doesn't talk. He restores broken game consoles and toys, and it's like, I guess, a little ASMR because you can hear the toothbrush on the thing, and but he doesn't talk. But he's so good at it. Like, he'll take the thing down and resolder and it's like quiet. So I like that stuff. Yeah, just like weird random stuff. But yeah, take inspiration wherever you get it from.
Absolutely. You need that, right? To kind of, mix it up a little bit. If you
You have to.
do the same
Yeah.
thing, gets stale.
Yeah.
So, outside of technology, who is Steve? What do you like to do? What do you like to do on your free time? I'm sure you'll have a similar answer as Dean. What free time?
There's always there's downtime, right? I love hanging out. So I have twin girls that are 10 years old, and it's cool because having babies kind of sucks. I'll be honest with you. Having kids that you can hang out with and like play video games or Legos, that's pretty awesome. So like at this age now where I have these two cool friends I can kind of hang out with, I get a big kick out of that. Yeah, hanging out with my wife, we still just like hanging out and watching movies and things. And um, I just like to chill, hang out with family. I don't, some people are like, oh, well, I'll go hiking and do this and this. I'm very much who you see in the videos. All my situations are based on something. So if I do leave the house, I end up complaining about something, or I'm like the happiest person who hates everything. But I generally, yeah, I generally just like chilling. But even in free time, what I'll do is I'll be like, oh, I have free time. Well, let me work on this like personal tech project, this like code I'm writing, or I do like learning things. I like being in situations where I have no business. Like I was learning Python last week, and it's like I have no business doing this, but I love it. I love being new at something and learning the steps. It's fun to me. Um, so yeah, and I'm trying to pre-order a Switch too, just because that's just what I do. This stuff comes out, I got to get it, even though I won't use it. But so we'll see if anyone knows best way to get one. Holler in comments or something. Um, but yeah, I'm a home buddy, family person, just chill. Yeah, what you see is what you get.
Awesome. And I know you mentioned you have twin daughters. I'm a twin myself. Are they you know, similar like in personalities, or
Yeah,
are they two different people?
they're two different people. They're fraternal. They look like one's an older sibling, which is cool because when we knew we were gonna have twins, I'm like, what if they look the same? That's gonna be
We're gonna mess them
like
up.
all these, yeah, just mess them up. But no, they're like two different people. Um, they're great, two different personalities. It's pretty. It's been wild. It's been in fact, when I left my job, one of the things I realized is like, man, when I started, I was not a parent, and now I like that's a weird way to encapsulate or to look at life. So it's been a ride in my head. It's like, oh, we just had little babies and now they're big and they got personalities and they think I'm an idiot. So it's like it's it's wild. It's a very, very trippy thing to experience, but you know.
And kind of in that realm, you're talking about your Switch and you buy things. Um, how many devices do you have at this point? And like,
Oh, I mean, I have it's too many. I have a sickness. Like I'm literally gonna have to I'm gonna have to learn how to design hardware because I am just not satisfied with anything. Um, I have like there's 26 Android phones down here. I've used iPhones. I have racks over there with just laptops. Like I have a problem with everything, or I'll like it, but then I problem with it, and I'm picky. It's like, well, I want to use a Mac or I'll use this PC, and I can't. It's me. I'm the problem. It's not the devices. It's me. Um, so I don't know. I'll just keep looking, I guess. But I like to try a lot of different stuff. I think it's important. Obviously, like there's a certain part of it that is for the job, right? You have to
Mhm.
understand how different hardware works.
Yep.
But then you go into like sickness territory where so yeah, I tried to when I left Apple, I tried to get rid of all my Apple stuff because it was like being in prison, and then you're out. And then I would keep gravitating back to it, but then it kind of flipped where now I gravitate towards Windows, and I'll use a Mac, but I'll end up running Windows on it. And so I don't know. The two devices I use the most right now are one is a framework laptop, which is the one you build yourself. Um, you it's pretty cool. I was very happy with it and kind of being able to do your own RAM and stuff. And then another one is the one I'm on right now. It's a Snapdragon PC. It's a ThinkPad and it's a Snapdragon. I don't know which one it is, but it's pretty cool. I wish Snapdragon was better. It probably is. I'm not going to be able to sustain it because of the compatibility stuff. And in Phone Town, I used Pixel for a long time and I really liked it. And now I have a Galaxy. It's a Samsung one. Whatever the big new one is with the pen. It's a 25, I think, or something. It's nice. I like the hardware. I like the Android operating system. I'd go back to Windows Phone if they came out with it again. I loved Windows Phone. Um, just probably because it was the weird thing to do. But yeah, so I'm never satisfied. We'll see. we'll see. I mean, who knows? I'm too picky. I want like, matte display, certain kind of keyboard. I want this. I don't want it to get too hot, but I want it to be powerful, and like I want things that don't exist. But like I said, it's no fault of the people making these products. It's just me.
And I'll kind of end it with this then. What kind of advice do you give for the next generation of IT professionals?
Yeah, just learn. Um, you don't have to. Obviously, it's hard, right? If this is your job, as a consultant, part of your job is learning. As a sysadmin or you're in the IT workforce, it's hard because you got to deal with your job and learning new stuff. But try to make time to learn. Find the thing that makes you happy, right? If it's like we said before, it's like anything else. If you hate chunks of your job, it's gonna suck. And don't die with a technology or a platform. Don't die on a hit. It's not worth it. I watch so many SCCM guys cry, like grown men just be upset because Intune was coming, and it's like, bro, just learn Intune and take the knowledge you learn there. Like, don't go down with that ship. Like, there's nothing to gain from it. It's I get it. I get being attached to something. It's Intune right now, right? Like, I get everyone Intune for 10 years. If in 5 years Intune goes away and there's something else, I'm not going down with the ship. That's ridiculous, right? If this all fails tomorrow, I'll be pushing Chrome OS and Chrome Autopilot or whatever. So I mean, like, you got to be, yeah, just try to be agile, be flexible, think about people skills, you know, uh, that kind of stuff, right? You won't get, how far you get won't be related to how many certs you have and how much stuff you know. It'll be related to how you are as, standard stuff, man. Are you on time? Do you understand what's going on? Are you aware? Like, so many people today are just walking around like not paying attention. And it's like, just, show up on time, be aware of what's going on, do the job and care. And honestly, if it's IT, if it's Dunkin' Donuts, if it's being a chef, whatever it is, you'll be fine with it. But that's as somebody who's had lived through like different lives,
Mhm.
I can say that that's the common thread is care and just be aware of what's going on.
Mhm. Absolutely. And actually, there's one more part to that, because I did, um, you mentioned like, if in 5 years we have something else, is there something like that excites you or that you're looking forward to from a technology standpoint?
I do. So I've talked a lot of crap about AI because we're all sick. I mean, it's whatever,
Yeah,
right? It's
yeah.
it's like COVID or it's like the Mike Tyson fight. It's like anything else that we're sick of hearing about. But honestly, the Copilot Studio stuff, the agents, seeing this level of automation uh make people's lives and jobs different. I think it's going to be interesting. It's literally the difference between like we worked a certain way before the internet. People's jobs didn't go away; they just evolved. I think jobs will evolve. Are some jobs going to go away? Like 100%. But I think there will be, a place for everybody. It's, going to need some humans around. It's not going to be like, the Matrix. Uh, but yeah, I think it's from an IT standpoint. I think, look, we've spent the last how many years having all these platforms that collect data and
Hmm.
telemetry. It's like, now what are you going to do with all this stuff? You have all this telemetry. Are you going to use it to train these things? And, you know, it's like with Microsoft, right? It's like it's very obvious what's happening. It's like you have data from Intune, you have data from your SIM, Defender, Windows, and the systems all have APIs. So it's like there's no doubt that they're going to take that data and take action on it. So very excited about where that goes. I think it's going to be quick. I think it's going to be this next 8 to 12 months. Um, and yeah, we'll see. But it's jump on that bandwagon, right? I could be like, I'm sick of hearing about AI, but I'm not gonna not do it, right? So
Exactly.
you gotta just move, keep it moving, right?
Mhm. Yeah, no, and
Yeah,
that's why I asked too. I like to like learn how people use it in different ways.
be wild to see. Yeah, for sure.